There's absolutely nothing wrong with being art-based, right? Being an art-based photographer, there is nothing wrong with it, but you do need to understand you're at college and you do need to understand that you've got to have a commercial purpose. You need to know how to use your camera properly. You need to know how to use lighting and all the different lighting setups. Again, I keep going back to becoming an assistant. Being an assistant is a fantastic thing, especially if you're working in a studio or a variety of different photographers, because everybody uses different sources of light. Some mix light really well, like we're doing today. Others are just using natural light. Some only use like 10 lights to shoot a still life, which is kind of interesting. Others might just use one light source. It's really important as part of your growth as a photographer to understand how to light things, because not every time, you know, you go somewhere is the light going to be beautiful, to understand how to use the natural light. So while you're at uni, take all of that information. And when you're putting a portfolio together, as I said in the very first part of this talk, you can never second guess what somebody else wants to see, right? So you do have to put your own personality in there, but there's a really fine line by making your work so art-based that they can't see beyond the fact that they really like it as an art-based, but how could they possibly use it in a commercial sense? So there's a way, and I work with people all the time, where they can incorporate their art and their commercial practice to give people an idea of the variety of things that they do. But anybody that's going to employ you to shoot for them, there's money involved. So they need to have confidence in you. They need to know that you're surrounded by, for instance, a good team, which might be a great stylist, a great makeup artist. It might be a good studio to work out of. Or you know, if you're going down the documentary path, it might be that you have somebody that you can write with, or that you're great at finding locations. There has to be something that they can grab onto. And the other thing is, when you're out there trying to work for money for photography, and there's all this money involved, there's not huge amounts of time. And with art-based practices, and when you're at uni, you've got deadlines, but like if you go over the deadline, it's not a huge problem, and you might have 3 days to do something. When you're out there in the real world and assisting, and this is what I learned a huge amount about when I was assisting, is that you might have a half a day or a day to get involved. So it teaches you how to create, or actually to time manage. That's going to be hugely important. So a portfolio that you're building at university needs to have many things in it. It can absolutely have a little bit of your art, but you need to think of something that's going to be more tangible and that people can say, like, I feel really confident that this person can shoot fashion, or that they can shoot still life, or they can shoot architecture. I love the art-based thing, but I could never kind of work with that. I've had so many people in the old days sort of go, we love their work, but there's nothing that we could ever use them for. And that's not what you're wanting in a portfolio or a website. You're wanting people to go, I love their work, and I can see it being used in this particular way. So putting your own personality to it is great. I'm not saying don't be an art-based photographer, but I'm saying have something tangible that people can hold on to as well, alongside your art.